Great. Good afternoon, everyone. You are attending the Office of the Treasurer and Tax Collector's budget presentation for our 22-23 fiscal year submission that will be forthcoming, that we will be submitting to the mayor's office. I'm here with Kimmy Wu, our budget manager, and Eric Menke, our communications policy manager as well. Next slide, please. So just really simply, our mission of the department is really to serve as the investment banker and tax collector for the city and county of San Francisco. In addition, we use our role in the financial playing field to assist low-income families and build economic security and mobility, and have very specific targeted programs and projects around that, as well as initiate policy in that area as well. We have a very committed vision to, to provide excellent service to our taxpayers and customers and our community. And we are very dedicated to promoting diversity and equity inclusion within our own organization in the way that we approach our work, in order to be a very smart, strong, and informed government agency that is reflective and continuously improving. Next slide. We act upon that mission and values through these very core central objectives that we have: financial stewardship or fiscal stewardship, clearly making sure that our investments are sound and safe, really focused in on liquidity to pay the city's needs and requirements to provide services to the citizenry here in San Francisco. Financial equity through removing barriers and developing financial products and practices within our organization, both for residents and businesses and individuals. Customer service, we really strive to be both responsive, consistent, and agile, really thinking through how we respond, the scale in which we have to do it, and the time that we do it so that people don't experience delays. We're able to do a lot of that through being an innovative organization. And as I said earlier, really thinking about continuous improvement, so that we're able to learn from where things have happened and the mistakes and sort of quickly fix them, and as well as use as technology as appropriate and as applicable, and as accessible to ourselves within the organization as well as externally. Operational excellence, of course, being business effectiveness to that, really thinking through how we do things, removing gaps and barriers both within our workflow so that it's a good experience for our staff themselves, as well as an easy way for individuals and businesses and the customers and taxpayers to interact with us. And rigorous compliance. As the tax collector and the steward of our funds, we look for compliance in all components of the way that we work and the audits that we do, and to be incredibly quick so that we don't have significant lag time if there's any breakdowns. Next slide. While the pandemic and COVID are continuing, and the strife that is caused continues, we are still proud of the work that we did during this time and our responsiveness to San Francisco. We, with the policymakers, implemented tax and fee deferrals for thousands of businesses so that if they were closed or experienced hardships, we were able to alleviate some of the government pressures that were by the city and county. We supported small business recovery through that mechanism, as well as initiating economic task forces and looking through workforce ideas and loans and credit lines opportunities, and work with our partnering departments in that area. We directly worked with workers and employees and employers to provide critical financial resources to them. We continue to maintain our operations, as well as providing critical disaster service workers, and continue to provide taxpayer assistance throughout this period as well. Next slide. In the past year, we implemented Prop F, the voter-initiated business tax overhaul, which made our taxation more progressive, as well as increased the small business exemption. We led the implementation of first year free and other efforts to support small businesses as they recover during this time. We opened our City Hall offices to the public while implementing contactless taxpayer payments and assistance. During this time, of course, we had critical tax deadlines for property tax and others, which were deferred but still required payments, and people were able to continue to come into our office safely. We actually improved customer service, like many organizations, both public and private, utilizing the pandemic as a way to become more responsive in faster ways. Improved our customer service through doing instructional videos, being multilingual, and really sort of more targeted communications as well. And finally, really, convened a guaranteed income advisory group to develop a robust way in which we are able to do direct assistance and cash assistance to the folks that are in need. We did a significant amount with right to recovery, as well as for people that were experiencing COVID and were not able to securely financially stay home from work, providing them assistance directly so that they could be safe. In the upcoming year, and our budget submission will reflect our new priorities. They include implementing voter initiative tax measures, including the vacancy tax and the overpaid executive tax. Continuing our engagement with our taxpayers and customers through contactless mechanisms, as well as providing real-time in person as needed and necessary. And looking at expanding our smart money coaching work, as we do with our direct assistance as well, and the cash assistance, really advancing smart money coaching to a broader group of individuals throughout San Francisco in targeted ways to really help them benefit from financial coaching, as well as becoming more part of the financial mainstream and utilizing products and services that are available to many of the citizenry out there. And we are excited about the upcoming graduation of our kindergarten to college students. Our first year students that started the program will now be graduating high school. We are now fully at scale with kindergarten to college and have all of our children in San Francisco Unified School District with college savings accounts. And we will be looking forward to continuing to help them create robust futures and robust savings. I'm going to move the presentation over to my colleague, Kimmy Wu, who's going to give more specific details related to our actual budget. Kimmy?
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Kimmy Wu, the budget manager, and I'll go over our proposed budget. Here you can compare our budget from fiscal year 2021 to 21 to 22 and our proposed amount. The TTX budget will increase to $47 million, primarily due to new performing work orders. The general fund support remains the same at $26 million, and our budgeted FTE has increased by 6 for a total of 209. Next slide. Our expenditures in the fiscal year 22-23 is $47 million, and the breakdown of the proposed budget is $33 million for salary and fringe, $6.6 million for services of other departments, which includes FTE, $6.4 million for professional services, $800,000 in programmatic projects, and under $100K for materials and supplies. Next slide. Our budget is supported by general fund and grants, and the majority is for tax collection work, 60%, and 18% is in treasury, banking, investment, and cashiering. 11% is in administration and HR. 7% is in financial empowerment and financial justice. 4% is in technology. And in collaboration with the assessor's office, there's an additional funds for the property assessor tax system. Next slide. Our top interdepartmental services by other departments include 311 customer service, leases, repro mail, and city attorney. And our top contracts that we pay are Grant Street Group for property tax system, X-Tech for the business tax system, Wausau Financial System for cashiering payments and mail processing, and lastly, collection solution software for the delinquent revenue system. And this is our organization chart. The Treasurer and Tax Collector's Office is 4 main sections led by the Chief Assistant Treasurer, the Tax Collector, Chief Policy and Communications, as well as the Financial Justice Director. The next slide, I'll give it back to Tejal to go over our advancing racial equity and addressing disparities.
Thanks, Kimmy. As many of you may know, the city has made a long-term commitment to racial equity, established a department as well as have authoring legislation in relationship to it. As part of that, we have created a racial equity plan, which is available on our website. In this upcoming year, we're really excited that we did a very competitive RFP to have a consultant work with us specifically on our practices related to hiring, restorative justice, as well as training. We're continuing to look at the classifications and the diversity and the lack of diversity within the hiring classifications that we have and how to improve upon that. And we will also be looking at really practices around, practices around the training and coaching that we provide and how it's related also to our discipline, progressive discipline, and the environment in which we all operate and work within. We will also be doing a second round of our all staff survey to really examine our performance and practice in those areas over the course of the time that we've been working on this. And finally, as part of the rest of the action plan that the city is abiding by and continuing forward with, we'll be also looking in the upcoming year in our practices related to procurement, contracting, and delivery of services, as well as engagement with the community in our practices themselves. That ends our presentation on our budget. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them to the, how do they do questions? Oh. I think you can use the
We're opening for public comment now, and it doesn't appear there's anyone for public comment. So for anyone that is watching the recording of this video, they may submit their public comment on our website at the URL listed here, sftreasure.org/budget. There's a public comment form, and those can be submitted at any point throughout the year.
Great. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Kimmy. And we hope that you enjoy the presentation as best as it is to be enjoyed. And if you have any questions, please feel free to submit them. Thank you and have a great day.